Hi, so I just want to talk about a kind of interesting interaction that I've seen with Zephyr's 4 and Ensnare. So Zephyr's 4, the base ability is somewhat annoying. As you can see in the little video here, it lifts enemies up. For a long time, Zephyr has really been propped up by her 3 Turbulence, but I've always experimented with her 4. It has some interesting properties where as you can see here, shoot enemies engulfed in tornadoes to do additional damage. So, and also the damage type that tornadoes take, they will turn into that damage type and apply that status effect. So it's kind of interesting how they work. They actually can do some pretty decent damage, but there's a really interesting combination with Ensnare on Zephyr. And so I'm just going to show like, um, how this kind of goes a couple different ways here. So this is without the 4 augment. Okay, so, and also without Ensnare. So this is kind of how long it takes to kill one of these enemies. But, so I'm using a Gaze primary kit gun, just a pretty normal Hunter Munitions Viro build, a lot of crit, kills things okay speed. So if we group stuff together, we use her 4. So, it kills things a lot faster. And so the reason for that is the Gaze has an AoE, and AoE weapons play really nicely with her tornadoes because you're hitting all the enemies in the tornado and you're also hitting the tornado. And so one of the cool things is it actually amplifies your damage quite a bit. However, it's always been pretty annoying to actually use in a real mission. And so this, I'll just keep using this kit gun just to be consistent. And so we can also look at, okay, so now what if we add the augment and ensnare? So what the augment does is it just makes your tornadoes not pick up targets, and it also makes more of them. Because your tornadoes will pick up targets that are ensnared. So one of the nice things about Ensnare, though, is it does prevent ragdoll. So that's part of why it's a kind of interesting CC. So if we group them together, cast tornadoes, and they just, instantly explode. One of the things, so there are weapons that are better at this that you can't use otherwise if you don't have Ensnare, so such as a Kuva Ogress. So I said that Ensnare, so part of the reason I use the Gaze primary is it has an AoE, but it doesn't have an explosion, so it doesn't knock enemies back. Because in the your normal tornadoes, if you hit them with an explosive weapon, they'll just get knocked out of the tornado. So if we do that, and yeah, they just all instantly get one shot. So let me do this without the tornadoes, just so to have a point of comparison. Oh, whoops, I gotta cancel my tornadoes. So if you just go in and out of the armory, it'll like, cancel. Oh, they're still ensnared. I am an idiot. Okay, so I'll just show that again. I zoned out for a second there. So let me cancel my tornadoes, summon these guys again, ensnare. Okay, and so if I shoot them with Ogress, they take pretty good damage. Like Ogress is a good weapon. It can do a lot, but it takes a few seconds of Night Watch Napalm ticking. It takes several shots. And so the build I'm using, it's using 2 augments, growing power to get a little strength because I couldn't really fit strength in otherwise. I do really love Prime Surefooted on all my frames. This was rolling guard, but given after the revised patch, when shield gating got added, I just kind of threw this in here because I haven't formed her again. So, a decent amount of range. You don't want to sacrifice strength because I was testing this out, and the bonus damage that the tornadoes will kind of share does get affected by strength. So when I threw overextended on here and reduced my strength, they took way less damage. Also the jet stream augment, which is just fantastic, extra mobility, a little extra utility with the projectile flight speed. That depends on strength as well, so you don't want to have negative strength. Some duration, a decent amount of range, a little bit of efficiency. I probably want a form of this again to have primed flow and streamline, just because it's a somewhat energy hungry build. I am running a death cube with the Hellstrom, both for status application and for the augment to generate more energy. So yeah, it all kind of plays pretty nicely together. Zenuric also to help with energy. So the question is, how does this play in an actual scenario? So usually when I've been testing builds, the simulacrum is like nice for like a first round, but you know it's not real, right? It's not a real scenario. So one place I've been testing stuff is Ophelia. It's been nice to just go in here in Steel Path. And so why do I like Ophelia? One, it gives some pretty useful materials. I make a lot of energy pads, so having extra polymer bundles is always nice. Let me just drop an energy pad. So another reason why doing it on the Steel Path is nice is you can't just drop an infinite energy pad, so it kind of tests your build's energy efficiency. It's also real enemies, and also this particular map has kind of like not ideal, non-ideal layout, right? So that's another reason I actually kind of like testing on Ophelia. And yeah, so these are Steel Path Grenier. So these are way tankier than the gunners I was just testing out against. And as you can see, they are just getting like shredded by these tornadoes. And so you know, using Ensnare, you kind of just make these like super tornadoes that just like destroy everything. So it's been, so okay, see there I had a shot where there weren't any tornadoes. You have tornadoes, they just all die. Tornadoes, you know. So and this is a real mission. You know, this isn't just a simulacrum. So I've had a lot of success with this build. I think it's like really, I mean, first of all, it's nice to have a build that can do Steel Path with primaries. Melee is, you know, of course, very dominant. So it's nice to have a viable build that kind of makes some other weapons shine. I feel like Zephyr is like a pretty underutilized frame still. And so yeah, let me just shoot some of these things that don't have tornadoes by them, and so I'm definitely like, you know, really relying on dang it, there's a tornado there. So I'm really relying on shield gating to live between casting my turbulence. Yeah, I think there's a tornado there, but you know, so yeah, I mean Zephyr can do some damage. Okay, so no tornado, they barely take any damage, right? So with the Night Watch and Napalm ticking, they like are finally just starting to take damage. But so one, like Ensnare just really helps with the extra CC. Like that's just super nice. Because Zephyr is already pretty tanky, but yeah, this just like really, these tornadoes are surprisingly good. And so weapons that I've used with this are like a lot of the AoE weapons. So like Kuva Ogress, Shedu, Tonkor, Kuva Tonkor, the primary Tombfinger, the primary Gaze. Yeah, I found that Ogress is pretty nice. One of the only issues with Ogress is it does have somewhat poor ammo economy. So I personally was having the best luck with the Shedu, just because it has a battery, you can't run out of ammo. So that's pretty nice. But yeah, this build is, I was pretty surprised. I was honestly pretty surprised. So, and I do have a, I have a ribbon that has extra magazine capacity. That's why I have a magazine of 4. But yeah, it's kind of cool, you know. This is kind of what I was hoping the Helminth would add, was some build diversity. Especially, I mean, obviously frames that are already good are just going to be good all the time, right? But frames that, I might die here. Oh, no, shield gating was kind to me. But you know, frames like Zephyr, who aren't really bad. I mean, Zephyr has like viable builds, but you know, just adding Ensnare makes her so much better and so much more fun. So, you know, if we go here, I've been in here for 4 minutes. I have almost 400 kills. And so most of the time when I've tested out builds, if it seems like a decent build, it'll be like around 100 kills per minute. I also like haven't really been paying attention, you know, I've been talking, so I think that's like pretty decent. But yeah, so Zephyr is honestly, I think she's really nice with Ensnare. It kind of solves a lot of the issues with her kit. It actually lets you use her tornadoes for damage, which they can do pretty incredible damage. So yeah, try Zephyr out. Plus, I think Zephyr Prime is a really cool looking frame. So give her a shot. You never know what you can do with Helminth. Alright, thanks for watching.